Okay, we're going to do a paint patching here. I'm going to videotape Chris doing this because he's the professional. So explain what you're doing as you're doing it, please.
So first I'm going to sand pretty rough where the paint has come off the wall to try and really open it up. And then I'm going to do an area around that to allow us to fade in the new paint so that you can't see.
Do you want that moved?
No, it's
So
okay.
he's sanding in a circular motion and putting more pressure in the middle than to the
Just lightly on
outside.
the outside, and you can still see where I've sanded on the outside.
Yeah, you can.
So the patch is only this big, but I do about double the area in a light sand. And then I'm going to clean it up with some mineral spirits. Once again, I'm going to do more in the center, and then just lightly around the edge.
And he said only work in that area that you have sanded.
Yeah, the main thing with any sort of painting is having it bond. So a lot of times people don't clean the area well enough or sand it, or basically you have to open up so that the paint will recede. If you don't do something like that, then what will happen is the paint will just delam at some point, or it'll just come off, it'll just start peeling. So when you see on the edges somebody's paint job and it's peeling, that's because they didn't clean the edges or they didn't do something to open it up.
Okay, so how long do you have to let that dry?
Well, it's mineral spirit, so it shouldn't take very long. It can even be ever so slightly damp because it's a paint thinner, so it'll work with the paint, but if it's too thin, then it'll be all runny. So as is, I'm still going to have my rag handy. Now this is unusual for me using a mini roller. Normally I actually use a brush. The mini roller is a touch-up roller, so it's supposed to be for this, so we'll see how well it does.
So you don't have to have too much paint.
You don't need very much paint, it's just a touch-up.
So he's putting the majority of the paint in the middle.
See, I didn't wait long enough, that's why it's a little bit
Okay.
runny.
It wasn't quite dry, but we're trying to do this live, so that's why he went ahead.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
Yeah, it'd be my fault. He keeps a rag handy. It's not because the roller's wet, right?
Yeah, a little bit. To keep the roller longer, I've put it in the fridge, and so it does have some moisture on it.
So now he's gonna feather.
Yeah, and this is the
Out.
part I've never done with this, so I don't know how well it's going to work. But I'm going to try and keep it heavy here where the spot is. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you can see where the spot is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to go a little thicker there.
So basically when you do the brush, you'd be doing the same technique, just brushing it out. He's using the end of the roller kind of as a dauber.
Try and get it thicker. The main thing is I got to get it thick enough on there that you don't see the imprint. Like I said, normally I use a brush, and so I have a little better control because I'm used to it. Okay, so now you can see, like, see how the texture is gone on it, or there's still texture, but you see how it's like filled in now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can when you get up close to it. You can see that circle. I have no idea. Was this complicated?
Well, you want it to never show up, right? Which I worry because this paint does not look like the same color as your
It's supposed to be, but you know how they do.
Yeah.
I guess later I'll come back and take a picture and we'll see if it's like totally different. Oh sure, now the thing's gonna regenerate or something, make noise. Who'd have thunk it?
I'm just trying to give it like
Uh-huh.
a blend, you know what I mean? Like I
Also,
want it
it's
to, when
not
it
like,
dries.
you don't want it to be a distinct edge.
No, you want it to be, and that's why you give a nice big area, because you want it to be kind of faded out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, a little trick, after it dries, this wall has some dust and everything on it because it's a wall that's been around for a while. It's also had lights hit it and stuff like that, so it's going to be slightly different. So what I'll do is after it all the way dries, I will come in and actually clean a little bit around the entire area to try and kind of make it match the surrounding area.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like, you just don't, because this wall, this is fresh paint, so it's going to be ultra clean. So then it'll look funny because it'll be all bright and clean and the area around it won't be. So mostly I'm just trying to get rid of any sort of texture.
Indentation from that
Yeah.
circle. It's amazing that, you know, it did that.
It peeled it all the way off is kind of the tricky thing. It wasn't just the top layer, it went all the way to the wall. So that's kind of a thicker amount that it pulled.
And that instrument most of us have is called a finger. And that is the little baby roller.
Just trying to still have it have just that roller texture like the rest of the wall, but not have the indentations.
I think as long as it's not like that glaring white circle, I think you probably won't notice it that much.
Yeah, most people won't. They don't notice things like this. Depends on where the spot's at for how picky I am. If it's on a corner where nobody's really going to see it, you can be a lot less picky. But when it's right here, this is right at eye level where people are looking. So you got to take a little bit more time. You can see this like feather pattern. I'm trying to, the reason that I sand it all the way around and then I mineral spirit all the way around is I needed all of this paint to be open so that this paint will stick.
Okay.
So, and if you do a nice hard edge, the other problem is that you'll have like a ridge. So hopefully with this there won't be a ridge. And if any of this doesn't bond, it should just be little flakes that come off. It shouldn't be the entire thing peels off.
Okay.
So I mean that's pretty good there.
Well, Chris is a perfectionist, so he
Yeah.
could probably sit here all day and mess with this thing, but we're not going to do that because we got other things to do.
Well, no, I can't because
So-
the paint will dry. You gotta be quick with paint.
So,
So I'm gonna call that good.
okay. Thank you, Chris.
So you'll have to come back so you can see after it dries, because this will change shade. And then, like I said, I'll come back and I'll clean it to try and get it so that it all looks the same. And on the cleaning spot, I'm going to do the exact same thing.
Okay.
Because if I just clean a hard line from here to here, then you'll have a funny clean spot. So it's kind of funny because
So
on
you're
the
gonna
cleaning,
fade it
I'm
out.
going to fade even the cleaning. I'm going to try and fade, and then that way
Okay.
there's blended edges. So the only time you have to be extra careful is high traffic areas. If it's like a door jam or something like that, then you have to really be careful on your feathering because the feather won't bond as well. And so if it's a high traffic area, you don't want it to where it's going to peel. But this spot, nobody's going to touch it. Nobody's, you know, it's on the wall right here. It's not going to have a lot of, like if it was behind this towel, you have to worry a lot more because it's going to have a lot more people touching it, bumping it, and everything like that.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, thank you.
We'll see how that
Appreciate it.
does.
That's how you patch a spot. Thanks a lot, Chris.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And also, while we're on here, Chris has a channel, and your channel's called
State by State.
State by State. They travel all over the United States with their family. I'll try to put a link in the description, and you can like and subscribe and follow them and follow their adventures.
It
And
has nothing to do with painting, but
nothing
lots of fun.
Yep, they just have fun. But then he stops here and I put him to work. Anyway, thanks a bunch. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.